Every game week, I break down the haircuts and beard trims of all the goal scorers in the Premier League, so you know what works, what doesn't, and what you need to ask your barber for the next time you're in their chair. This is the Premier League trim series. If you're new here, my name is Adil. I'm a former barber and ex-Big Four analyst, so this is all about technique and not just opinion. Game week 24 is done, and this is all about identity haircuts. First up, we have Marc Cucurella. Now this one is definitely a one-of-one look. I can see here that he's got it in a headband, but this is what I like to call a curly lion's mane. His hair type here is a 3A to a 3C, which is not too curly, but it does have some strands of nice waviness with curls that give him volume and bounce. The key to this haircut is internal layering. You keep the length but remove the weight so the curls inside the hair don't collapse. The perimeter is slightly blunt but textured, so it doesn't look thin or see-through at the ends. And if you've got this kind of hair texture, make sure you ask your barber to cut it dry and not wet. Reason being is because when it's wet, it then looks like it's longer than it is because it shrinks when it's dry. And with curls, you want to see where it sits naturally before shaping it. For this kind of hair, you need an oval or long face because the horizontal volume balances that out with the vertical length in the face. In terms of products that he's using, it looks like he's wearing a curl defining cream, nothing too wet. He definitely uses a leave-in conditioner because frizz is his worst enemy here. So what he needs is basically hydration at the base of his hair. And actually I can see that the sides have actually been tapered slightly. It's not a skin taper, it's probably taken down to a number 1 on the sides, and the back line has actually been shaped up, which means that the hair on top just sits nicely. And going back to the headband, I feel like this is his brand. And if you actually just look at this picture here, you can actually see that not everything is all one length, which goes back to what I said about the internal layering. Beard wise, this is natural, nothing too sharp. What he does is probably a number 2 on the sides, but he leaves the chin area and mustache area quite dark compared to the rest of his beard. Whether that's intentional, I'm not sure, but it suits his look. If you've got this kind of hair and you've been blessed, make sure you ask your barber for internal layering. You don't want anything to be shaped up sharp. You want to make sure that it's texturized at the perimeter of the hair. You want the hair to be cut dry instead of wet. No aggressive fade, just a shape up on the neckline and a disconnected 1 around the sideburns area. And then going on to the beard, a number 2 guard on the sides, probably a number 3 around the chin, and a 1.5 around the mustache, and no harsh shaping on the beard. Next up, we have Hugo Ekitike. He's completely changed his look this time. He's gone back to what he used to be, and that is blonde. This is a bleach low taper fade with textured curls, or a perm at the top. We're looking at type 4 curly hair right now. Let's talk about the fade first, then we'll go on to the top and talk about color in depth. I can see that the fade here is very, very low. In this game week, it's grown out, but I can see where the fade began. It's only just at the sideburn area and just probably about an inch above his nape area. So the shape that he's going for is more of a rounded haircut. This is a barber's dream because this is the easiest fade to do. Moving on to the top and the back, I can see that this is an intentional perm. The curls are very, very tight and it's around 1 to 2 inches long. Lineup is sharp but natural. Like I said, this is grown out, probably not a fresh trim right now, but you can see that he's got a nice shape up and it hasn't been pushed too far back. One critique though is that I can see that there's a slight disconnect between the actual taper and the rest of his hair at the back, and it gives that mushroom look. Personally, I'd soften that transition, but maybe this is something Ekitike likes. Now let's talk about color. Bleach hair is very, very fragile. It's porous and it needs a lot of oil back in the hair. So I recommend organic argan oil or jojoba oil or coconut oil or any type of organic ingredient so it stays hydrated and moisturized. Now in hairdressing terms, this is globally bleached to a platinum level 10. Let me break it down for you. Globally means the whole head of hair. Bleach is self-explanatory. Platinum level 10 is the highest level of blonde that you can get. What we're looking at here is more icy than it is blonde, and it suits him. And with this kind of color, it's important to use a purple shampoo to make sure it stays the right color. Beard wise, I can see that he's got a pencil mustache, got a dense goatee, soul patch which is quite defined, and I can see that he's cleaned the cheeks to then make the jawline pop out. This is perfect for guys who have patchy beard growth, just to clean off the sides and bring attention to the chin and mouth area. Line up the mustache, shape up the goatee, and you're good to go. What to ask your barber for if you want this kind of hair? You want a low skin taper, tight curls on top, or maybe a perm. Say that you need a global bleach platinum level 10, followed by a cool tone toner to kill off any yellowness or any brassiness. You want a sharp natural lineup, keeping those vertical bars quite defined, pencil line mustache and a nice goatee and a soul patch clean off the side. One thing to note here that this is a very high maintenance haircut. You will need to be back in the barber's chair within a week, maybe 2 weeks at max. Next up, we have Gabriel Jesus. Now what he's got here is a mid skin taper with a nice gradual fade. It's blurry, which is exactly what we recommend, and he's got a sharp shape up with a defined vertical bar and no C-cup. So what we can see here that this is 360 waves. He takes care of it. The type of hair that Jesus has got is type 4C coily hair, and you can see that he likes to keep it nice and wavy. Now the routine here would be to daily brush with a medium bristle brush, maybe some water-based pomade, a small amount, a do-rag at night. Now this is non-negotiable to get those waves, and then a leave-in conditioner for moisture. The facial hair again is similar to Ekitike's. It's got a pencil line mustache, disconnected goatee, cheeks are clean to emphasize the cheekbones and the jawline. Again, perfect for people that can't grow a beard. At the back you can see that this is a low taper, which suits his head shape. Now if you've got this kind of hair, what you want to ask for is a number 2 going with the grain at the top, a sharp shape up on the hairline and the vertical bars. You want a mid skin taper fade on the sides and a low skin taper fade at the back, a disconnected goatee and a pencil line mustache. One thing to note here guys is that the hairline has been trimmed down to a lower number from the rest of the hair. Reason being is so that there's no overhang on the hairline. So what the barber has probably done is gone with a number 1 with the grain and then shaped it up, and that's super important to get a nice clean shape up. The overall shape of his hair is nice and square, giving him the most masculine look. Finally, we move on to Benjamin Sesko. Now we've already covered him in the previous weeks, however he has changed his look, and we had someone commenting saying that we want an update on his haircut, and here it is. It's pretty simple. He's gone with a buzz cut with a skin fade on the sides. At the top he's gone for, I'd say, a number 6, what it looks like. He's gone for a sharp shape up on the hairline. He's kept the vertical bars quite defined. However, this is a high skin fade and it goes all the way around his head, which follows his head shape. However, if you've got a prominent occipital bone, which is this bone at the back, then I recommend for you to ask your barber for a drop fade. And all that means it keeps the density at the back of your head following your head shape. Face is clean shaven, again going for a very low maintenance style. If you want this kind of hair, make sure you ask your barber for a number 6 buzz cut with a high skin fade on the sides. Make sure that the fade is blurry and gradual. You want a clean, sharp shape up, which is nice and square, and then the vertical bars quite defined, and then a nice clean shave. You want to make sure that the barber keeps it nice and square and not rounded, otherwise you look like an egghead. Remember, a square shape gives you the most masculine look, and I say that in every video. In my opinion, a buzz cut really works well if you've got a great hairline. If you haven't, then I don't recommend it. And that's it for this game week. Different hairstyles, different identities. Don't copy the footballer, copy what suits your lifestyle, your head shape and your hair type. I'll see you in the next video.